Hello, wonderful learners, and welcome back to the English Story Nook. We are so glad you could join us for another story today. Today, we're diving into a story about a brave young diplomat who finds herself in a difficult situation. In her world, a very important treaty forbids humans and the magical fae from forming any personal connections. But during tense negotiations, she meets a fae guard, and they feel an instant, powerful bond. This story explores what happens when your heart tells you to do something that everyone else says is forbidden. Before we dive in, if you enjoy our stories and want to support what we do, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and consider buying us a coffee on Ko-fi. There's a link in the description below. Every like, subscription, and small contribution helps us keep creating great content for English learners like you. And now to the story. I broke the treaty for a kiss. The air in the negotiation tent was thick with a nervous tension that had been building for 100 years. I'm Irene Matarazzi, a junior diplomat for the human kingdom, and I was trying my best to look calm. Across the long wooden table sat the Fae delegation, their pointed ears and shimmering clothes making them look like characters from a storybook. We were here to renew the ancient treaty between our peoples, a document that kept the peace but also kept us completely separate. The most important rule was simple and strict. No personal relationships between humans and fae. It was absolutely forbidden. Then I saw him. His name was Arik Kavanati, a fae guard whose silver hair seemed to catch the light. He wasn't part of the official delegation, but stood by the wall, silent and watchful. Our eyes met for only a second, but it was enough. It was a connection I couldn't explain, a silent question that passed between us. I knew immediately that thinking about him was dangerous. The rules were clear, and the consequence for breaking them was exile for a human and severe punishment for a fae. During a break in the talks, I went outside for some fresh air. The tension inside was too much. A few moments later, Arik appeared beside me, pretending to inspect the trees at the edge of the clearing. "The words in that tent are cold," he said, his voice low and smooth. "They don't leave room for warmth," I agreed. We spoke for only 5 minutes, but it felt like a lifetime. We decided to meet that night, by the river that marked our border. It was a crazy decision, one we would have to keep secret. We were choosing to defy the most important law our people shared. That night under the twin moons, the world felt different. The river flowed between us, a silver line separating our homes. When Arik crossed it to stand beside me, it felt like he was crossing worlds. There was a soft glimmer in his eyes that wasn't just a reflection of the moonlight. We talked for hours, sharing stories about our lives, our hopes, and our fears. We were from different species, raised with different rules, but our hearts felt surprisingly similar. It was a simple, human and fae connection, something the old treaty said could not exist. We continued our secret meetings for weeks. With every conversation, my feelings for him grew stronger. But so did the fear. The risk was huge, and the constant secrecy created a new kind of tension between us. "What are we doing, Irene?" Arik asked one night, his hand close to mine but not touching. "This is forbidden. We can't hide forever." He was right. We couldn't just defy the rules in secret. Eventually, life would force us to make a choice. The potential consequence of our actions felt like a dark cloud hanging over us. The breaking point came sooner than I expected. A senior diplomat, Luca Ruscio, me returning late one evening, and asked questions I couldn't answer properly. The next day, rumors started. People said I was sympathetic to the Fae, that I couldn't be trusted. My superiors called me into a meeting. They reminded me of my duty and the importance of the treaty. They didn't know the truth, but I knew that if they discovered it, my life would be over. At the final signing ceremony, the air was formal and heavy. I stood with the human delegation, my heart pounding. I saw Arek across the room, his face a mask of control, but I could see the worry in his eyes. I had a choice. I could sign the document, promise to uphold the laws that kept us apart, and go back to a life of quiet loneliness, or I could choose him. I could choose us. In that moment, I saw a glimmer of a different future, one that was not written in any document. I put down my pen. Every eye in the room turned to me. I walked away from the table, away from my delegation, and straight towards Arek. The room was so quiet I could hear my own breathing. I stopped in front of him. "This is wrong," I said, my voice shaking but clear. "This peace is based on fear, not understanding. It keeps us apart, and anything that is kept apart cannot truly know peace." I knew my next action was completely forbidden, a betrayal in the eyes of everyone I knew. I reached up, put my hands on his shoulders, and kissed him. For a moment, there was only silence, a collective gasp from both sides of the room. Then, chaos erupted. Shouts of anger and shock filled the tent. But as I pulled away and looked at Arek, I saw no fear in his eyes. Only love. We had made our choice. We chose to defy everything for this one moment of truth. We were immediately arrested, of course, but our story, the story of the diplomat and the guard, did not end there. Our shocking action did not restart the war. Instead, it started a conversation. Younger members of both delegations began to question the old ways. It was the beginning of a long, difficult path, but it was a new path. I don't know what the future holds for us, but we will face every consequence together. I broke the treaty, yes, but I did it for a chance at a real, lasting peace, and for a kiss that was worth more than any law. That's the end of our story for today. It makes you think about difficult choices, doesn't it? What do you believe is more important, following the rules or following your heart? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to read what you think. And remember to check the description for some helpful materials to continue your practice. Thank you for joining us at the English Story Nook. Keep learning, stay curious, and we look forward to seeing you in our next story. Happy learning!